Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it's not as if the cruise lines don't have enough things in their way with lawsuits and vaccines and testing and port closures. Now Mother Nature has decided, well, she's going to put in her 2 cents worth. That's right, we have Tropical Storm Fred now heading towards the coast of Florida, expected to make landfall between Friday and Saturday, and really affect cruise ports, especially Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and to a little bit lesser degree, Tampa and Orlando. But the cruise ports have already started setting up their system. I know it's only a tropical storm, but they have to be prepared because this storm is about to head over the warmer Caribbean water and can build up force and could quickly turn into small hurricanes as well. The cruise lines have to pay attention to this as well because, as we all know right now, with so limited ships sailing, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are their main times that they're leaving the cruise ports with paying passengers. The ships that are just coming in for resupply and that, they can move out of the way and then come back when the storm goes. But paying passengers, they want to keep to a same schedule. And it can be interesting if, for instance, you're supposed to embark and disembark passengers on Saturday, and that's the day the tropical storm hits. The cruise line has different categories that they consider depending on how far away the storm is and how severe the storm is. So what do they consider a storm right now that they have to be concerned about, where they're going to stop ships from entering the cruise ports on a regular basis? It's anywhere with sustained winds from 39 miles an hour up to 73 miles an hour. I guess those are tropical storm, hurricane, gale force winds that they consider could be very dangerous, especially for large ships like a cruise ship. If you look at some of the cruise ships, like an Oasis class cruise ships, it's just one big gigantic sail. And if you have that wind hitting against the side of a ship, it's very easy to be pushed aside. It's not like it's dragging it across cement, it's pushing it across water. And the cruise ships may break moorings and float around, and it could make things very, very dicey, especially trying to load and offload passengers. The cruise ports don't want anything to do with that sort of situation. So they've issued their warnings. Now, before I tell you what those warnings are, just let me invite you to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to do it very quick. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it already. Really helps the channel, and it really doesn't cost anything, and I would be very, very appreciative. So the cruise ports have a system that they set up for warning all the ships, and right now they are currently under whiskey. And whiskey means that there is a tropical storm or gale force wind sustainable between that 39 mile per hour and 73 mile per hour category area within 72 hours of hitting the cruise port. I imagine that was what their designation was yesterday. I imagine today it may go up to the new one, which is X-ray, which is 48 hours. But even under whiskey, they have issued the warning, and they are recommending that all ships seek safe harbor and leave the cruise ports. All barges, ocean-going vessels, pleasure craft, anything of that mark. If you plan to moor in the harbors, you need to submit a written mooring safety plan of where you're going to be, what you're going to do, etc., to the port authorities and get approved in order to do that. And the cruise ships would have to do the exact same thing. Would they come in the middle of a storm? No, because if they're going to arrive on a Saturday, the port may already be closed. So here's an example. Right now we are in the whiskey category, which is 72 hours warning. Today they may change it to the X-ray, which is 48 hours. Now when they get within Yankee, which is 24 hours, that's when they stop bringing in ships and letting ships leave the harbor. That's considered too close, too dangerous to head out of port, you can get caught in this storm. And even worse is the next one is Zulu, Z, last letter in the alphabet, within 12 hours where absolutely nothing goes on and they basically batten down the hatches. We don't know until it's getting closer just if the storm picks up speed or if it, lessens in the wind category, if it heads wider out and will miss the ports completely. They don't know. They're monitoring it on a minute-by-minute basis, and they make their decisions according to that. But those cruise lines right now are watching this storm very, very closely, But cruise lines right now are watching this storm and trying to figure out what they're going to do for embarkation and disembarkation this weekend. Luckily for me, I'm in Orlando next week, and hopefully there's no storms next week. But this is just another hiccup. One of those things that cruise lines and the cruise ports have to deal with. This is not unusual. This is the hurricane season. August, September, middle of October. That's when most hurricanes and storms hit the coast of Florida, the Caribbean, that area. The tropical storm right now is flowing down the coast of Cuba, and so it is not an unusual situation. Cruise lines are very, very adept at doing this and will always put their ships and passengers' safety first. That is a very rarely do you see a ship of a cruise size stature get caught in a storm. It's not just the captain who makes the decision, although it is the captain who makes the final decision, but they're usually in touch with head office and the weather bureau and the ports, etc. And majority of the time, 99 times out of 100, they will make the right decision, and they will usually always err on the side of safety for the crew, the ship, and the passengers. Doesn't do anybody any good to get seasick passengers in a storm or damage to your ship that you have to bring it in for dry dock. Doesn't do anybody any good. So if you're on the ship this week, keep an eye on the weather forecast and keep an eye out for emails and heads up from your cruise line, especially if you're embarking or disembarking on a Friday or a Saturday. I think the storm will be by Sunday and things should be back to normal, but cruises could be, the cruise that's going right now, this is supposed to arrive on Saturday, could be extended one day, and the cruise that's supposed to leave on the Saturday could be shortened by a day just because of the storm, and the cruise lines really have no choice. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.